Hey there, this is Kathleen Rendelia, and this is our Monday Mental Health Moment, and I'm just trying to tune in a little bit to the voice in my head. Have you been tuning into the voice in your head this week? Well, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today, is our voice in our head, what we tell ourselves, and how it impacts our self-esteem. And so that is our mental health tip for the day, is self-esteem. And last week we talked about our self-esteem and how it is impacted by those around us. If we are surrounded by people who are positive, then we tend to be more positive about our view of ourselves. If we're surrounded by individuals who tend to be more critical or negative, then we tend to have a lower self-esteem and be more critical and negative towards ourselves. So I challenged you this last week to not only be a positive person in somebody else's life, but also to evaluate the people around you, and if you are indeed surrounding yourselves by positive people, or if the individuals surrounding you are draining your life and making things harder for you. So this week, though, we're going to talk a little bit more about you and what you can do to help, specifically the voice in your head, and how that impacts your mood and just your outlook on life and everything in between. So once again, my name's Kathleen Rendelia. I am the director at Brandon's House Counseling Center, and we have been having these little moments every Monday evening so that we can reach out to the community to let you know what's going on at Brandon's house, as well as give some tips to see if we can help you maybe just improve your mental health a little bit this week. So if you don't know, Brandon's House is a free counseling center for teens and their families in New Albany, Indiana. We serve all of southern Indiana and a few families from Kentucky if they're willing to drive over. So we are unique, though, because we are free and we don't charge anything. We don't bill insurance. Our services are completely supported by the community, by individuals like you, a few small local grants, and then fundraisers that we have throughout the year. So thank you to all of you who do support us and who have for years and years. You have allowed us to help people, over 4,000 families specifically, in the last several years. So Brandon's House has been open since 1993, so we're not new, but we are very much grassroots, and some people may not have heard of us, but we are here for those who need us, and we hope that you will help spread the word a little bit more. So if you're willing and able, I'd like you to just click the share button to help us get the word out. It helps us to let more people know about what's happening at Brandon's House, but also share those mental health tips as well to maybe brighten somebody else's week. So if you can, like, click, share, all of that. That's a wonderful addition to our week and our social media. We're getting really close to 2,000 followers on our Facebooks, which is really exciting because that is an incredible increase from where we were at last year of just over a little bit of over 500 people. So thank you to all of you who keep following us and sharing about Brandon's House. So what do we have going on? Well, we have our Walk for Teens event, and we have had a shirt contest going on, and so tomorrow I am excited. We're going to be announcing this week the winner of the contest as well, so stay tuned for that, and we will be showing the winning design as well. And then we also have had sponsors for our event. If you or your business has been able to sponsor us so far, thank you very much. We will be sharing those names, logos, all that info on our website and social media in the next couple of weeks. But if maybe you forgot and you meant to sponsor us and you missed that deadline of last Thursday, it is not too late. You can still get to our website, give us a call, tell us you dropped a check in the mail, We will work with you guys. If you let us know that you want to sponsor our Walk for Teens event before this Wednesday, we can still make it happen. So we can still definitely use sponsors. We are about halfway to our goal. Right now we're almost to $6,000 that we've raised for this event. We're aiming at $12,000 or more. So we are about halfway there, which is good, but we could definitely use some more help. So if you're able to sponsor our event, you can go to our website, or like I said, contact us and we'll help walk you through that steps as well. So there's sponsorship options from $100 all the way up to $1,000 and $1,500. So whatever your budget is, we can use any assistance possible. So if you want to sponsor the event for Walk for Teens, it's not too late. Just in the next day or two here, get on it, okay? We greatly appreciate it. If you have already sent in a sponsorship in the mail for us and you haven't heard from us at all, please give us a call or email. We've seen a lot of delays in the Postal Service the last few months, and so we really may not even know that it's on its way yet. So please do just let us know if you haven't reached out already, so that we are aware and can still list you on our shirts for our event as a sponsor. We would hate to miss out on that. And then if you aren't sponsoring the event, you may want to walk in the event. We already have 25 people registered, but we would love to have a whole bunch more. And our event is a combination of a virtual event and an in-person one. So what we decided this year, because there's still a lot of people who are trying to socially distance and not have large gatherings and things like that, that we would offer a hybrid system, if you will. So we are having two locations, Sanpedon Park and the riverfront in New Albany, and we're going to have several hours that you can walk in that time frame on May 16th for our event. But if you're not comfortable with one of those options, you can also walk the event virtually. So you can register for the event, you can pick up your shirt, or you can pay a little bit extra, we can mail it to you. But you can walk wherever you want to. So you don't even have to be in Southern Indiana. If you want to walk in California, Texas, Michigan, wherever, it's up to you. We would still greatly appreciate your support, and we'll be tuning in on social media as well during that day just to connect with everybody. So the deadline, if you want to have shirt your size guaranteed for the walk as well, is to register by April 26th. You can register online. You can also go to our website, print off the registration form, fill it all out, send it to us, drop it off. That's an option too. Remember though, if you put it in the mail, just give us a heads up that it's on the way. So that's what we have going on right now. If you have registered already as a walker, please be thinking of ways that you can raise some money as well. We do have some trophies for those who raise the most money, both the individual and group. So ask your friends, neighbors, share it on social media why you're walking for Brandon's house and why you support our cause, and see if you can help us to reach that $12,000 goal. All right, so tuning in, right? Tuning into that voice in our head. Well, what do you say to yourself throughout the day? How do you talk to yourself? Because, come on, you probably do. You just may not always be aware of it. Unlike me, who is known to walk around the grocery store talking to myself out loud about my grocery list and may seem a little bit off sometimes. And no, I'm not on my phone. That's just me. But we all do have a voice in our heads. It's a matter of tuning into that voice, paying attention to how you talk about yourself, to yourself. Do you call yourself names? When you don't get something right, are you really negative about it? Or do you give yourself another chance and say, well, it didn't work that time, but we'll try again later? Are you overly critical and hard on yourself? Do you look in the mirror and find every minute thing that is wrong and say, I can't even stand it? Have you even stopped looking in the mirror because you just don't like what you see? Well, I want you this week to sit down at some point, pay attention to that voice, and write down some of the things that you say to yourself. Common things that you notice, whether it's like, oh, that was stupid, or, oh, that was really nice. I'm proud of you for that. Or maybe, come on, get it together. How could you forget that one? Or, hey, good job holding your tongue in that moment. It was hard to do. All sorts of different things you might say to yourself, right? But I want you to write them down. And then after you've written down several different things, I want you to sit down and look at them. And we're going to kind of evaluate that voice in our heads, okay? So the questions I want you to ask yourself when you look at this list of things that you say to yourself on a regular basis. First off, is this something that you would say to a good friend or somebody that you care greatly about? Would you use the same words, the same phrasing that you do to yourself with a good friend, right? Also, is it helpful? Is what you're saying to yourself helping you to either change something or continue doing something that's useful for you? Or is it unhelpful and making things more difficult for yourself and tearing yourself down? So after you've decided if it's helpful or not, and if it's something that you would subject your best friend to, then if maybe it doesn't meet in that criteria, it's not so helpful and you can't see yourself saying it to somebody that you would really care about, then try rewriting it, okay? So we can't change things and lie to ourselves. That's not gonna work. You're too smart for that. You can't lie to yourself. That just is not gonna help you to feel better. You're gonna know better, right? But you can write it so that it is fair and honest and kind, rephrasing things in a way that is non-critical. We have constructive criticism as such, like, well, okay, that wasn't the nicest thing I could have said in that moment. Maybe next time I'll try better, right? That sounds a little bit nicer to say to myself than, oh my gosh, you're such an idiot. Why do you do that, right? So changing how I phrase something, even when I'm talking to myself, is going to change how you view yourself as well. Because we've talked about on and on about this balance of positive and negative, of if we have too many negative things, they weigh you down. You feel more depressed, you feel worthless, and you don't really have motivation throughout your day. But if you have those positive things, you feel more confident, more happy, more open to trying new things as well. So we want to have a higher balance of positive versus negative. But the key, and you've heard me say this before, is the negative tends to have more weight. So one negative thing tends to weigh about the same as about 5 positive things. So we need to be more kind to ourselves, saying those positive things. Or if we do need to be a little bit critical and have a talk and sit down with ourselves and say, okay, need to make some changes here. This is not how you should be acting, or this is not what you should be doing for yourself. We need to do so in a way that shows constructive criticism that is kind, honest, fair, true, those kind of things. So this week, I want you to tune in a little bit. Remember, okay, many of you may not have had a radio like this, right? Where you actually had to use a dial at all. Anyway, you tune in a little bit to your voice in your head. Think about those things that you say. Write them down, because That is a big important step here, okay? Having it visually in front of you makes a big difference. So write it down and then look at it and ask yourself, is this something I would say to my best friend? And secondly, is it helpful or not helpful to me in my life, right? If it doesn't meet those criteria, then rewrite it. Work one at a time. You don't have to do them all, but take a couple key ones and rewrite it. And then keep that rewritten version somewhere that you can see it. Maybe on your fridge or by your bed or by your mirror, somewhere that you're going to see it frequently right now, because it's going to take your brain a little while to learn the new positive way of saying things to yourself. So when that negative version pops in your head, you can go, oh, wait a second, I'm going to be positive, and you're going to change it and say the new one instead. And I know it might seem a little bit silly and it may feel a little weird at first, but it actually does work. In fact, we have proof from research that shows brain scans of having new pathways in your brain when you learn a new way of thinking something instead of the old. So you can change the voice in your head to being a happier, more positive, supportive one, and that will definitely impact your self-esteem. So I encourage you to do so this week. Remember, at Brandon's house, we still have a few last-minute times you can get those sponsorships in, but please do hurry and do so before Wednesday. We want to get all of that squared away. And if you haven't yet registered to walk for our Walk for Teens event, which is May 16th, please get on there and do that too, because we want to make sure that you get a shirt in the size you want and all of that in place so that you have that before the event. And so if you want that, we've got to get you registered before the 26th of April. So get on it. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Until then, I hope that you are kind, fair, honest with yourselves. Remember, only you can truly change your self-esteem.